Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay, workday 5. Let's get started trying to get this car cranked up and running today. First thing I'm going to do is remove the PVC equipment off the front of the block. Then I'm going to replace this water pump. I just can't talk myself into leaving it because it's not a Asian pump or Volvo pump. And I hear too many failures at 30,000 miles and stuff like that to leave that on there. And it's just too much of a hassle to not change it now and deal with it later since the timing belt's off. So let me pull that pump and the rest of the PCV stuff. I have the box removed. I see that there's an intake manifold bolt there that somebody left there from some time ago. That port's a little clogged up. Let me put the light on and see what the other port looks like. Okay, the light's already on. That port has some hard crud in it, so I'm going to scrape that out and then I'm going to run something down toward the oil pan to try to clean it out as best I can. So let me go ahead and work on that. Okay, I usually use this size zip tie, about that size, to run down those PCV holes. I found this longer zip tie in the salvage yard, so I'm going to use it. The longer the better. You just want to make sure you get down to the pan and route out any gunk that may be in those holes in the block for the PCV. Okay, I pulled the air tube off. The PTC valve is clogged up pretty good. I don't think this hole's open at all, and this had a lot of crud in it I've been dragging out with a screw. Okay, I got this PTC valve all cleaned up. I also like to clean up the clamps because when they have all that dirt and stuff caked in them, you could actually strip the clamp because the teeth is not grabbing hold while you're trying to tighten it. So clean up your clamps, clean out a lot of dirt out of the intake tubing, clean that PTC valve up as best you can. Make sure you can spray through there and see the metal down that little hole there. And go ahead and put that back on and get ready for the rest of the PCV system. While you're back here, get all this stuff torn loose, you want to check your vacuum lines on this vehicle. Now this vehicle is a 98 model. It has two tubes going to the intake tube. One of those tubes goes back along the return lower line for the radiator. There's some little tube there that's connected, goes back somewhere maybe to some kind of fuel pressure or something like that. The other one here goes to your turbo control valve. Now your turbo control valve has 3 lines that come off of it, and they are colored. You have a yellow, you have a blue, and you have a red. Now your red goes to your line in the bottom of the turbo. It's hard to see that one. Your yellow goes to your wastegate actuator, and your blue goes to your intake tube, and that monitors the pressure in the intake tube. So I see those lines mixed up a lot. Check and make sure yours are right when you're in this area. I got the PCV box bolted in place. I have the manifold gasket in place. And I have the hoses secure. I didn't have those big clamps down there. I thought they came with the hose I ordered, but they didn't. So I had to use standard hoses on that. Shouldn't be a big deal. The thermostat, flush stat is in place. I'm going to go ahead and pull the water pump now. Okay, this is why you only use Volvo pumps. As you can see, this pump has been replaced not too long ago. It turns nice and smooth, but when I pulled it and flipped it over on the inside, this thing is already rusting out on the inside. I think this is why these pumps only last 40,000 miles or so. So don't buy cheap pumps. Get the good pumps that they use on Volvos. Okay, I dusted off the head, and now I'm going to clean the surface of it after I set the lifters in place. I thought the cam cover was cleaner than it was, but it was pretty bad, so I had to clean it. I have the cam cover over here drying out. It's a little windy, so I'm going to go ahead and set the lifters in place, set the cams in place, grease the journals on the head, and then hopefully by then this cover will be dry enough so that I can install it. Here's the old head with the lifters in place. I'm going to use magnet to pull them out, dust them off, and set them in the replacement head. It wouldn't be a bad idea to take these lifters and pump fresh oil in them. I'm going to take my chance. I'm not going to do that. Hopefully I won't have any ticking lifters when all this is done. But what you can do is submerge them in a little shallow tub of oil, and when you flip them over, you can press down on them to force fresh oil in there. So hopefully these are not destroyed from the bad head gasket. The lifters are dirty, so I'm wiping them off, and they have a hole there. So I'm trying to line that up with the hole in the head there. I also lubricated the walls where these lifters go in, so that they go in smooth. Since I didn't have these lifters soaking in oil like I normally do, I went on ahead and put some motor oil on top of these lifters. Be careful not to get oil on the head, and you want to put grease in the journals, so you don't want oil on the journals. At any rate, I hope this helps these lifters get oil quicker and get them pumped up where they can work right. Put the front and rear cam seals on the cams and put them in the position so that they'll fall in the head properly when you put the head together. So do it for the intake and the exhaust, and then get ready to give your head one last cleaning with some acetone before you bolt the top of the cam cover on. Now you don't want to get these cams mixed up. As you see, this one ends with EA, that's an exhaust cam. The other one's the intake cam, and the exhaust cam goes closer to the windshield. Now I always lubricate these seals when I put them on. You can lubricate them with oil or grease, it's up to you. You just want to make sure they're in the right position. Okay, I have the oil well seals in, I got the cams in place, I got the journals oiled, and I got the top of the head wiped down with acetone. So I have the cam cover wiped down with acetone. Now I'm about to roll out the anaerobic sealant on there. Now, just a reminder, this anaerobic sealant is not something that dries fast. It dries in the absence of air, so there's no reason to rush when you get it applied to bolt this thing back together. Okay, here's the anaerobic sealant on the underside of the cam cover. Really, this cam cover will almost seal itself on its own. So this anaerobic sealant is just a little bit of help that it needs to not leak. So you want to spread this on like a thick coat of paint, and I use that little roller there, and that stuff will sit in that pan for 3 or 4 days and not dry. So I don't know if it's even a good idea to put the cap on that stuff, because without the cap on it, you can use that stuff again. Normally I'll use a half a tube of that 1.69 fluid ounces. So I could actually do 2 heads, but by the time I get to another head, who knows where that half empty tube is. So I'm going to go ahead and set this on top of the head and put those bolts in and start to draw it down on top of the cams. Whoever did this head last time had this motor out of time, so I'm going to make sure the back of it's lined up, and I may loosen those sprockets up there so I can put those marks back on. They had different marks and everything on. Before you drop the screws in there and start drawing this down, make sure that your seals for your spark plug wells are still in place, and you work your way from inside out. And what I do is I drop the screws, snug them down, I work all the way out, and then by the time I'm out, the inside screws are loose again, and I just start all over. I do 3 passes, then I torque them. This is 1 pass across the head. As you can see, the bolts on the end are snug down, and the ones in the middle are sitting high again. So I'm going to snug those down, work my way out again. Okay, I've gone across 3 times, and now you can see that the center bolts look almost tight. Let's see if they're... No, they're not tight yet, but this time I'm going to torque those down. So let me check the torque value and torque those bolts down all the way out. Here, we have all the bolts on top of the head torqued down. You can see the little pink stuff there. It really didn't ooze out of there, which is not something that you really want to happen, but I believe it's sealed. You could actually fill a carb with oil and fire it up right now. That you don't have to wait for that stuff to dry. Unfortunately, I'm out of time for today, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up and get back on it tomorrow. So first thing tomorrow, I'm going to bolt the water pipe on the back of it, put the timing belt stuff on, put the new tune-up stuff on the cams, make sure it's timed, and go from there.
If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.